When I go to Home Depot, I've walked by this Stanley miter box about 20 times, and I figured maybe it's about time I give this a shot. Now this is obviously a replacement for your standard miter saw, and it actually comes with a hand saw, so you can make 45-degree cuts, 22.5, and 90-degree cuts. So I decided why not try and build a phone case or a phone stand, or even a stand for my cutting board with this, just to see how good of cuts I can get from using this miter box. So let me test it out on some pine before I make my case. And unboxing it seems pretty simple. It's just held by some cardboard and some zip ties. So I'll take this off. The saw that comes with it seems to be a push saw. And actually, I'm a fan of pull saws a lot better than the push, but I think I should be able to get the cuts done no problem with this. My first concerns when looking at the box was just the play. It seems like there's a little bit of play, so my cuts will be off, but let's get some pine and test out a cut with it. Now these pins, it says you just put it in the hole and it's a twist. Oh, okay, cool. That's pretty cool. So you pretty much find the nearest hole and then you twist it there. Okay, cool. Woo! That took a lot longer than I thought, but it made the cut, and I want to check to see how close it is to 45 degrees. That was by far the longest time it ever took me to cut through pine. And then bumping up next to my triangle, and hey, look at that, 45 degrees. Okay, cool. So I guess for small projects, it is pretty good if you don't have access to a miter saw. I'm using walnut though, so it might take a lot longer than cutting this pine, but let's get started on that. Took a lot longer than I thought, but I have all my pieces cut out. It's a 4-inch piece here, another 4-inch, and then a 2-inch. And then when I attach them together, I'm gonna make a little stand sort of like this, if you can see. I want to cut 45-degree butt joints, so miter slots on the edge. I don't know if I can with this. Pieces might be a little bit too small for that, but I'll give it a shot, and hopefully I can get this stand done. If not, this is gonna be the final stand. That took a lot longer than I anticipated, and ow, my hand hurts. So I wanted to check to see how close it was to 45 degrees. It's hard to see, but it is definitely not perfect. It is off by maybe half a degree, and that's because of the play in this. Pretty much what I'd realized, you have to get it started in the right direction. Then once you have the curved cut, you just have to pretty much follow this plastic line. But it does take a while. It does take a while to use this. So I'm gonna modify the design that I had for that stand because I can only do one more cut. My arms are absolutely exhausted. Let me do that, modify this design, and then get the stand all glued up. We're gonna go with this for the design. It's somewhat similar. So I'm gonna sand down the edges on this, glue it all up, and then give my final review of this Stanley miter box. What are my final thoughts on this? Pretty good. It is really good at cutting the 45 degrees cross cuts along the side of the boards. But in terms of cutting the miters at the end, I think that's where it struggles a little bit. I guess because I was using the hardwood, that could factor into it. Because when I was cutting with pine, it didn't take as long as walnut, but it still took a pretty long time. For making small cuts and just building out maybe even picture frames, yes, I would use this easily no problem because I don't have a miter saw. And making the cuts with my circular saw freehand might be a little bit off. So I would definitely use this. I'm definitely gonna revisit it in the future though to give it another shot. It did make me a stand, so I can actually use that stand for my cutting board. And that cutting board, I made it 3 months ago and I still haven't used it yet. But thank you for watching this short little video. I'm gonna hopefully get it done again next time, and I'll see you guys later.